Honolulu's nightlife was electric, the bass from a downtown club thumping like a heartbeat. Inside, tourists and off-duty service members packed the dance floor, completely unaware that one of the most powerful military leaders in the world had just walked in. At a quiet table in the corner, a woman in a simple black dress sat unnoticed. No flashy jewelry, no security detail, nothing to betray her true identity. This was Admiral Rhea Marston, commander of Pacific Fleet Operations. A woman whose decisions impacted the security of 5 nations, who commanded fleets and chaired briefings that lasted longer than most people's workdays. But tonight she just wanted to be an aunt, celebrating her niece's birthday like any normal person. She made her way through the throng of people toward the bar, navigating gently between the dancing bodies. And that's when it happened. 3 young Marines, fresh from the nearby base and fueled by adrenaline and cheap drinks, saw her passing. As she lightly brushed past one of them, he spun around, his ego inflated by alcohol. "Hey, watch where you're going!" he slurred. Before she could even say a word, he shoved her. Hard. His buddies erupted in laughter. To them she was just some random tourist in a little black dress. Rhea barely flinched. She steadied herself not because she was hurt, but because her first instinct was to counterstrike. Breaking a young Marine's arm in a crowded nightclub wasn't exactly part of her birthday plans. Her niece let out a small gasp. The bartender froze, a drink half poured. Across the room, 2 Navy officers who recognized her instantly went wide-eyed, a look of pure panic on their faces as they silently prayed for the world not to end. But the Marines were still completely oblivious. One of them muttered under his breath, "Probably some mainland tourist trying to act tough." That was the final straw. Rhea turned slowly, her expression calm, her posture relaxed. But the sheer force of her presence seemed to suck the air out of the room. "Son," she said, her voice soft but laced with steel, "you are about 2 seconds away from making a career-ending mistake." The Marine, still clueless, stepped forward aggressively. "Oh, yeah? And who the hell are you supposed to?" He never got to finish that sentence. Because in a moment of perfect cinematic timing, a group of uniformed sailors walked into the club for their shift-change dinner. The second they laid eyes on her, they stopped dead in their tracks. Then, as one, they snapped to attention. Their salutes were so sharp, so precise, they could have cut the music in half. The DJ, sensing the sudden shift, instinctively lowered the volume. Heads turned, phones came out. The 3 Marines suddenly looked like they'd seen a ghost, their faces draining of all color. The senior sailor's voice boomed across the now silent club. "Admiral Rhea Marston, Commander, Pacific Fleet Operations." A heavy silence fell over the entire venue. The Marines scrambled to stand at attention, out of uniform, out of breath, and completely out of luck. The one who had shoved her was visibly trembling. I didn't know." Rhea stepped toward him. Her simple dress seemed to do nothing, but her authority hit them like a tidal wave. "That's the problem," she said quietly. "Respect shouldn't depend on what you know. It should depend on who you are." She didn't raise her voice. She didn't threaten them or demand punishment. Not tonight. Instead, she leaned in close, her voice low enough for only the 3 of them to hear. "Let this be the moment you grow up." Then, she turned, took her niece's hand, and walked toward the VIP section that the club manager was now frantically rushing to open for her. Behind her, 3 Marines remained frozen like statues, humiliated, silent, and forever changed by the encounter. The story spread like wildfire through the club, then across the base, and eventually through every corridor of the Pacific Fleet. The tale of 3 young Marines who shoved the one woman whose command stretched farther than any carrier group. And that night, as Admiral Marston finally relaxed, laughing with her niece, one truth echoed louder than any bass drop. Real power never needs to announce itself. But it is always felt. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more. See you next time.